Everyone. This is Father and Son Worlds Apart. I'm Marcus along with my son Danny, and we're going to review the Eternals. So I went and saw the Eternals last night, and
Subscribe, you must.
I thought it was pretty good.
Do not be.
So if you haven't seen it, it probably be a couple spoilers in this review. So you might want to come back later once you've seen the movie. My opinion of the Eternal is I'm not going to say it's one of the best Marvel movies, but it's not one of the worst. I can say it's in between. It's yeah, they have a lot of characters. And I think that's the problem when you try to package in so many characters in one movie that most people don't know anything about. And I think that's probably going to be a big problem with the Eternals because these characters you don't know anything about. They haven't popped up in any previous Marvel movies. And if you're not a comic book reader, you don't know anything about the Eternals. But the Eternals is they're like a ancient superheroes. Some people say the first superheroes. They came to Earth over 7,000 years ago. And their whole purpose was to protect mankind from the deviants. Another space race of creatures that fed on human beings. So the Eternals, I mean, the story spans for over 7,000 years with 6 or 7 different characters in a 2-hour movie. So
it's a lot to cram in that little time.
It's a lot. Marvel would have did better to introduce at least a few Eternals in earlier movies. Also, they in reality they didn't need to introduce all the Eternals. They didn't need to introduce them all. They could have introduced maybe 2 or 3 Eternals at a time. And to me, that would have made sense. And introduce the rest in different, more established Marvel movies. So you can have an Eternal show up in Black Panther. You can have an Eternal show up in Ant-Man or the new Captain America, or even the series, even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or WandaVision, or Hawkeye. You can have some of them show up in those different movies with established characters that we already know and introduce them that way. Or even Black Widow. You had many opportunities to introduce Eternals. Where you can get a backstory.
You know?
Yes, instead of trying to cram the whole backstory into one movie with so many of them. And it's kind of like what they did with the X-Men. You remember the first X-Men that Fox did? The first X-Men?
Yeah.
They had so many characters. But at least you kind of knew the characters more than you know the Eternals. Everybody know Wolverine. I don't care if you read comic books or not. You know Wolverine. And casual people know Cyclops, and pretty much everybody know Professor X, Charles Xavier, most Magneto. A lot of people know those characters already. But most people don't know Eternals. So bringing them in like that and jamming them all into one movie is kind of hard to take for a lot of casual comic book, not Marvel movie fans, let's say. Because you have some
kind
people.
of.
Yeah.
They should
Go
have
ahead,
maybe done a
David.
series or something as well, before going out and actually doing a whole movie about it.
Yes.
I give you right too, because I don't know much about the about the movie I don't know much about them. I
Eternals.
really don't. So I'm relying on the movie, to kind of give me thing. But I haven't seen it yet. I was going to watch it today, possibly tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to yesterday when I got home from work. So I'm relying on your review.
Okay.
It's kind of sounds like you got a lot to learn when you first go in there and watch this movie. So it looks like you can't miss a second of the movie, or you're gonna probably miss something. Huh?
Yes, especially if you don't know too much about the whole eternal verse, and I enjoyed the movie. I mean, part of the movie was very, captivating, and part of the movie kind of dragged. And in a movie like that, you can't have any drag. It's just too many characters and too less time and too much to explain for a movie to drag like that. That movie have to boom, 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 boom. You got to hit the points, move on to the next point, move on to the next character. You don't have time. It's too many of them to try to linger on any, love story or conflict or things like that. You can have them, but it need to be short. It need to be bam, move on. You have time to, slowly bring that kind of stuff out if it was a series like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or WandaVision or anything like that. You have 6 to 8 episodes to introduce these characters. But in a movie, it's just so hard to do with so little time, especially when it spans over 7,000 years. And some of the things then, make sense. It was a bad explanation about why they stood on the sideline with the whole Thanos thing. And so
your facial expression, it says it wasn't to your satisfaction. The movie, was it?
see, I'm not going to say that because I did enjoy the movie. I did not walk out of that movie like, man, some movies I walk out of like, I don't know. Eternals is a movie that I'm glad I saw, but I would not go to the movie again and watch it again. It's not the kind of, I went and saw the Avengers twice. I went and, Endgame. I went and saw Endgame, then I went and saw Endgame again. It's certain movies I can go back and watch multiple times.
Yeah, that's just not one of them.
That's not one of them. If it came on television, I would watch it. So if it said it came on Disney Plus, I will watch it again. So it's that kind of movie. It's the kind of movie that I will watch again if I watch it at home on TV, but I will not. I will not go to the movie theater to watch it again, like I would do certain other movies.
Gotcha. So it might be something, I don't know. It might be something I might look into too, as well. Maybe I'll look more into the backstory before I actually watch it.
Yes, because they try to explain it the best the best you can. They try to do it the best they can when you got so many characters in such a long period of time, and then you also have to deal with current events that's going on and the whole plot. But I did it just parts of it that I really, really enjoyed. You know, Icarus, I really enjoyed him, his character, everything about him. And certain characters that I really enjoyed, certain characters that I enjoyed Gilgamesh. He was a good character. And Druid was a good character. It was some good characters. And you could have just introduced those guys in the beginning, in Eternals. I enjoyed that character. I enjoyed I forgot the Sprite was all right. But the other ones and the bad guy, I mean, really didn't have a part in it because you try to introduce too many Eternals, you can't have, flush out the bad guy like they did with Thanos, to where we actually sit down and you had a conversation with Thanos and why you doing this? Is you just evil and want to do this, or is it a purpose behind, what you doing? And that was the best thing about the whole Avenger thing. It wasn't just a bad guy just being a bad guy. It was a purpose behind what he was doing. It wasn't just being an evil dude. It was, I have a purpose. I'm actually thinking I'm saving the universe. Eternal kind of go a little bit into that, but they're trying to do it all in one movie. Not going to work.
It's too much. No, I agree. They should have, because now, based off of what you said, I'm going to wait with that. I'm going to do more research on it and maybe check out a couple of comic books as well before I actually go into it. Because, like you said, if it's so much information. I mean, it's a movie. You want to process the movie, but when there's so much information like that, yeah, I'd rather do some homework first.
Yeah. So everybody, let us know, have my review changed your mind about going to see the Eternals? I hope it didn't, because you might need to go and, see it for yourself. I enjoyed the movie, but it was just a lot to take in, especially for a person that have no background knowledge of the Eternals. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Go check out our next video, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.